Hey everyone, this is Natalie Pace, and I'm really excited today because you're going to learn a lot about a co-housing community. It's early stage development, so I'm not necessarily recommending or even suggesting that you should go and run and sign up and pay everything. There's a lot of things to consider. However, the heart of this community is at the right place. The swiftness with which these people have come together to create this community and their intention to create it, very impressive. And you can learn a lot more about both real estate and co-housing by listening to my discussion and also the presentation of Suzie Shride. And she is the executive director. She's actually the founding member. She's the person with the idea of the Gratitude Village, and it's going to be located in Colorado. So we'll be giving you all the links and all about that. But with further ado, I'll be introducing Suzie in just a moment. Again, you can watch this back at youtube.com/Natalie Pace. So be sure to share with your friends. On.
Did did you
Thank you,
want me to?
Suzie. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Suzie, for joining me. I'm so glad to have you. And I can't wait to see your presentation.
Well, thank you, Natalie, and you're a big part of how this came about. We can maybe talk about that later. So, do you want me to get started with the presentation now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. As Natalie said, I'm Suzie Shride. I'm the founder of Gratitude Village, Colorado, and the executive director, and I'm so glad you're here today. Um, I'm going to share a little bit about co-housing, about what we're building at Gratitude Village, and how you can get involved if it feels like a fit for you. Then Natalie and I will have a conversation, and at the end, we'll open it up for questions and answers. So, whether you're here today to learn, to support, or explore, I'm really grateful you've joined us. Let's get started. I'd like to start with a few questions to begin with. You can feel free to raise your hand, use the reaction button, or just nod along if any of these resonate with you. Have you ever felt more alone in the past few years than before? Do you dream of your children or grandchildren owning a home, but wonder if that's still possible? Who worries about the future we're leaving for our children? If any of these thoughts have crossed your mind, you are not alone. Right now, we're facing three overlapping crises. First, we're living through an epidemic of loneliness. More people than ever before are feeling disconnected. In fact, 60% of the US population reports feeling very lonely on a regular basis. Second, housing has become increasingly unaffordable. Here in Denver, home prices have risen over 200% in the last decade, while wages have gone up just 44%. And third, the planet is in crisis. We need to live more sustainably, more intentionally. What if there was a place designed to address all three of these challenges? Welcome to Gratitude Village, an affordable, accessible, climate conscious co housing community now in pre development here in Denver. We're designing a neighborhood that responds directly to the challenges we just talked about, with connection, purpose, and sustainability at the heart of everything. Before we get into the details of Gratitude Village, I want to share with you how this vision began. About 10 years ago, I was a single mom raising a teenage daughter, and I was longing for a more connected life. And I started doing research, and as I did my research, I came across co-housing. My parents had passed, I had moved back to my childhood home, and I was remembering how things used to be. You know, we used to have chili cook-offs, block parties, holiday gatherings, even Christmas caroling. As kids, my friends and I would run through the neighborhood and each other's yards from breakfast to sunset in the summertime. And someone's mom always knew where we were. Neighbors would pop by for a cup of sugar and they would end up staying for a cup of coffee. And families sat out on their front porches after dinner, chatting with the folks who were walking by. And yes, it was a different time, but I had actually experienced something similar when my daughter Raina was young in our previous neighborhood. These days, I know my neighbors and we chat while we're walking the dogs, but no one has time to truly connect. Everyone's lives and social circles are elsewhere. That longing for a deeper connection is what led me to finding Cohousing. Before we go further, and if you've been to Natalie's programs before, you've done something similar, but I want to invite you to pause just for a minute and imagine your ideal community. Take a deep breath. You can close your eyes if you want. And now picture your perfect neighborhood, one that truly nourishes you. What does it feel like to live there? What would you be doing? Who do you talk to, laugh with, lean on? Thank you for taking that minute. Most of us don't realize just how powerful imagination and visualization can be in shaping the world we want to live in. So now, what exactly is co-housing? Co-housing was originated in Denmark in the early 1970s. It was brought to the United States in the 1990s by the architects Charles Durrett and Katie McCammon. They are the pioneers of the movement here in the United States. The model was designed to bridge the gap between the isolation of a typical suburban neighborhood and the intense, deep connection of communal living. How does co-housing work? It's a model built on intentional design with walkable layouts, front porches that face each other, and shared amenities that support everyday connection. And because it's designed by the people who live there, co-housing can address challenges that typical developments sometimes ignore, like social isolation, affordability, and sustainability. Co-housing blends private homes with shared spaces, creating a community where people have room for themselves and room for one another. Everyone owns their own private home, and they also share extensive amenities and resources, like a clubhouse, or as it's called in co-housing, a common house, gardens, greenhouse, tools, and decision making. Gratitude Village is taking the co-housing model and enhancing it by offering affordable, climate-resilient homes for purchase. In doing so, our aim is to bridge the gap between rental housing and market rate homeownership, creating a new path for families, first-time homebuyers, elders, adults with disabilities, and anyone else who wants to live with purpose, with community, and environmental care. Of course, none of this happens without the right people. Let me introduce you to the team making Gratitude Village a reality. We officially incorporated on January 24th of this year with a dedicated and passionate board of 8. Our members bring a powerful mix of experience and heart, including a retired agriculturalist, a functional medicine doctor, a disabilities advocate, a business attorney, a community land trust specialist, an accessibility consultant and film producer, a construction company owner, and a retired teacher and business owner. In December, we'll expand to a 15-member board with staggered terms to ensure strong, steady leadership as we grow. Each of our members is here because they believe deeply in community, equity, and sustainability. And they believe in the power of people coming together to build something better. Our mission is clear: to develop a flagship co-housing community of 56 accessible homes right here in Denver. Homes that are affordable, net zero, and grounded in community. We're not just building homes, however. We're building a model for how people can live better together. Before we talk about how we're doing that specifically, let me share the values that guide every decision at Gratitude Village. Our values aren't just words, they're the foundation of everything we're building. And it starts with affordability, because a beautiful connected life shouldn't be out of reach. And that's why we're designing homes and systems that make living well possible for more people. Sustainability isn't a feature, it's a responsibility. Our homes and shared spaces will meet the highest environmental standards so we can live in harmony with the planet and each other. Nature isn't a luxury, it's our lifeline. Without it, we lose not only beauty, but the balance that sustains all life, including our own. It's not just about how we build, however. It's about who we're building for and how we live together once we're there. So we have accessibility because everyone deserves a chance to thrive. That's why we're building an accessible community that welcomes all bodies, all abilities, and all walks of life. It's inclusive by design and by heart. Humans are wired for community and connection. We're creating space here for real relationships, the kind that grow in everyday moments. And when every voice is heard, we grow stronger. When every story is welcomed, we find joy. Diversity makes us wiser, kinder, and more connected. True belonging can only flourish when everyone has a place. So how do these values come to life in our community? Let's take a closer look at how we're putting them into action. We're addressing affordability through foundation grants, donations, and low-interest loans. This way, we're helping to reduce barriers to home ownership. We're partnering with the Community Land Trust and affordable home developer to help keep about half of the homes in the community permanently attainable. And for low-income seniors, first-time homebuyers, adults with disabilities, and families with children, we'll offer flexible funding and low down payment options, making home ownership more possible than ever before. Every aspect of Gratitude Village is designed with intention to address sustainability, to protect the planet while nurturing community. We're building climate-resilient net zero homes and community spaces that are meeting Passive House and LEED standards, which will dramatically lower the energy costs and carbon footprints. Our landscape and agriculture will follow regenerative practices and xeric design, which will help us honor the natural rhythms of Colorado's ecosystem. And with a gray water capture system, we'll reuse water wisely and help preserve one of our most precious resources. What do we mean by net zero, Passive House, and LEED? Net zero means our community will generate as much energy as it uses through renewable resources. In our case, that'll be solar and smart design. Passive House homes are super insulated, airtight, and ultra efficient, using minimal energy to stay comfortable year round. And LEED, or LEED, stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And LEED certification reflects our commitment to sustainable building from construction to daily operations. Together, these approaches ensure we build a community that's healthier for people and for the planet. The Common House is the heart of the community. You know, it's built for laughter, it's built for sharing. We will have a large kitchen where we can cook meals for each other, and something went wrong. Oh well. Yeah, let me go back. There we go. Indoor and outdoor dining, a mail room, and a laundry room. The mail room encourages residents to come meet their neighbors and keeps vehicles out of the center of the community. And the laundry room is so that not every house has to have its own dedicated laundry space. Our shared spaces are designed to nurture creativity, health, connection, and hope. As I said before, nature isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. We're creating green spaces that invite both play and peace, gardens to grow in, and wild areas to explore. A dog park where friendships can form over wagging tails, because even our four-legged neighbors deserve to have fun. Nature-inspired playgrounds and wild areas where kids can climb, laugh, and learn through unstructured play. And a naturally filtered swimming pool that is refreshing to body and soul without harsh chemicals. Across all of our landscapes, pollinator-friendly plantings will support bees, butterflies, and the ecosystems we depend on. Belonging means everyone can show up fully, regardless of age, ability, or need. We're building Gratitude Village using universal design standards from the beginning, so our homes work for real lives, not just ideal ones. With guidance from experts like Charles Durrett and the folks at Studio Cohab, and certification support from the Kelsey Foundation, we're creating spaces that welcome all bodies, all journeys. And we're committed to ongoing learning because building for belonging means we never stop listening. At Gratitude Village, connection starts with intentional design. Our homes will be arranged to face into the community with kitchens and dining areas and home offices oriented towards walking paths and shared green space. Bedrooms and living areas will be tucked quietly at the back, giving everyone the privacy they need. Homes will have welcoming front porches, which encourage casual hellos and spontaneous conversation. And connection doesn't stop at the door. We'll strengthen our bonds through shared meals, community work days, and hands-on workshops that bring everyone together. By building in affordability and accessibility, we're creating a community where people of all backgrounds, beliefs, incomes, and abilities can truly belong. We celebrate racial, cultural, and family diversity, and we know that the more voices at the table, the stronger our community becomes. At Gratitude Village, everyone is welcome and everyone is needed. Really, truly. Gratitude Village is for everyone. These are some of our explorers and founders: young families, retirees, artists, teachers, entrepreneurs, musicians, elders, adults with disabilities. What's bringing us together isn't our age, our income, or our background. It's our shared desire to live with purpose, with people, and with the planet in mind. As we continue to grow, let me show you where we are in the process and where we're headed next. I think this one, if I do this, you guys can't see the slide, right? Okay, well, I'm going to just keep going on the slide. I guess that's where I got confused. We've lined up some of the best consultants in the country to help us bring Gratitude Village to life. In fact, Charles Durrett, who I mentioned earlier as the pioneer of co-housing here in the United States, is coming to Denver September 18th to give a public presentation and officially launch our community. Right now, our focus is on gathering founding members or residents. Those are people who want to help co-create the community from the ground up and shape a neighborhood aligned with their deepest values. That's our big push for the summer, with the goal being to purchase our land by the end of the year. And this is a map showing one of the properties, the top property that we're looking at. We're also applying for grants and actively seeking partners and angel investors. In 2026, we'll move into permitting, surveying, and finalizing the home and site designs. And in 2027, we plan to break ground with the goal of moving into our new homes by the summer or fall of 2028. Let's take a quick look at our finances. We've set a $100,000 working budget for this year to support the early development, outreach, and planning. The full project, from land purchase to move-in, is estimated at around $55 million. So it's a big project. Since December, we've raised, this says 36,000, or since February, I don't know why I said December. It's actually now 37,000 in resident fees and donations, plus 25,000 in-kind contributions. We've also applied for $1.5 million in private activity bonds and $150,000 in foundation grants. And we're expecting to hear back on both of those by late summer or early fall. Another question. This is your chance to put something in the chat if you want. But, you know, if you were thinking about a community like Gratitude Village or Gratitude Village itself, what excites you the most? You could put one word. For me, it's the naturally filtered swimming pool, to be honest. But whatever it is that calls to you in your dream community or in Gratitude Village, feel free to put it in the chat or, just think it in your head. But, whether your dream is to plant gardens or build friendships or create a more sustainable future, you belong here. Thank you, Natalie. I knew that would be one. Sustainability. Yes, that's also very important. Let's take a quick look at the ways you can get involved. So maybe you think you're interested, but you're not really ready to make a big commitment. You could start as what we call an explorer. That's a $150 investment. It allows you to stay connected with our progress. You can take part in our business meetings. You get a chance to meet the community members, meet your future neighbors, dig deeply into the project, and secure a spot in the home selection queue. By becoming an explorer, you can proceed at your own pace. You get up to 6 months to engage, learn, and picture yourself living here before having to make a larger commitment. If you're excited to start creating a life filled with connection, sustainability, and belonging right now, you could join us as a founder. A founding membership requires a $5,000 deposit that goes directly towards your future home. And if you join before the end of the summer, which for me is August 31st of this year, you receive a $3,000 early adopter credit. That brings the total value of your initial investment to $8,000. As a founder, you actually get to help shape the vision. You participate in design workshops, you design the houses, you design the community. If the pool is important to you, you get to put your emphasis to that. If it's the maker space, if it's the dog park, you get to say that and have a deep say into what's going on. You also get first choice of homes and home sites. Right now we have 6 founding members and 11 exploring members. So if you joined as an explorer, you would be 18th in the queue for a home site. If you joined as a founder, you would be 7th. And it's your chance to really be part of something meaningful from the very beginning. Maybe you or someone you know are called to be an angel investor. Angel investors make bold visions real. With your support, we could help secure the land sooner, launch construction, and maybe get this going quicker than our timeline. An investment doesn't just build houses. You're helping families thrive. You're supporting climate smart living, and you're contributing to a healthier, more connected city and region. It's your opportunity to be part of something transformational. If angel investing calls to you or someone you know, let me know. I'm happy to set up a meeting at your convenience to talk about possibilities. And maybe you believe in our mission, but really you love where you live. You don't want to change. You live in a great neighborhood. You could make a donation. That's part of why we became a 501c3 corporation. Your donation helps support those 4 key groups that we're wanting to subsidize homes for: seniors, adults with disabilities, families with young children, and first-time home buyers. And every gift, whether it's large or small, moves us one step closer to a thriving, inclusive, climate-friendly community. We were never meant to do life alone. Not the celebrations, not the struggles, and not the quiet moments in between. Humans are wired for community, for shared meals, for helping hands, and growing up or growing old together. At Gratitude Village, you won't have to live alone. I hope you'll join me on this adventure. The future starts with us. I truly believe that. Right here, right now. Together, we can create a community and, by extension, a world we're proud to call home. I have some QR codes here. I can also email them to you if you want. I know Natalie wants to talk with me, so I will get this screen back up in a little while for people if they want to see it. I'm going to stop the share so we can have our conversation. I can't hear you, love.
So this is the website, right?
That
And
is our website. Yep.
and we'll go ahead and put this in the chat area, but those of you that are watching back, it's gratitudevillageco.com. And I just want Susie and I to have a little conversation because I was writing down some questions and also those people, Eva and Daria, if you guys want, please, we will, be having a group discussion. You can ask your questions directly to Susie. But if you think it's super important for us to be talking about it now, put it in the chat area. So first off, what do you think the price of each home is going to be?
So there's a wide range, and it will determine, since the residents are the ones that will design the homes and determine the sizes of homes in the community, that'll all vary. But in our website, we do have an estimate with the smallest homes at about 700 square feet and subsidized being anywhere from 250 to 300,000. Those are subsidized rates. And the largest homes on the 10,000, 12,000 square foot lot, single family detached homes, um, close to a million, probably 950, 975.
Okay. And who's going to subsidize the affordable ones?
That's where the nonprofit comes from. See, in most co-housing communities, the way most co-housing communities are set up, the residents do everything. So they're set up as an LLC initially, and they get their half or three-fourths, two-thirds of their future residents as members that pay in. They pay for everything. And the pro forma I got actually had those people, the residents, subsidizing the subsidized houses. And I didn't want that because our housing here is so unaffordable to begin with
Yeah.
that I didn't want to put that burden on the future residents. So that's where we're looking to foundation. I was looking for, state and federal money, which is
Right.
in question right now. So we're going to foundations and grants.
Right, but that could come back in the future. I mean, things are cyclical. What
Of
about,
course.
like a community like this? Is there something like an HOA fee in addition to what you're going to be paying for your housing to cover the
Once the
cleaning?
community is built out, yes, there will be an HOA fee. Again, that is determined by what amenities the community built and what's included, whether all utilities and internet and snow removal and all that's included. Similarly sized communities have anywhere from 300 to 800 a month in HOA fees.
Okay. This is a question because I know that, people of our age are have been through the Great Recession where, they did buy high and then the prices went down. So what lessons are you taking from the Great Recession and applying to this new village? Prices are at an all-time high. So, I mean, yes, they could go higher, but if the economy weakens, they could also go lower. So how are you kind of building that into the planning as well?
That's a good question. Ideally, in a very optimistic pie in the sky view, which is how I tend to be, that we will get excess funding that would allow us to reduce home costs for the market rate homes as well. Um, Otherwise, I hadn't actually thought of that. So you'll fire me as a student, Natalie.
I will not. Are you kidding me? I mean, your sustainability portion looked like I was like, every time I was like, yes, lead, yes, passive house, yes, natural pool, yes.
Yes, I learned all that from you.
No, but you're doing it, and that's what's really important. Okay, another quick question, just in case of high net worth people. What is your value proposition for the angel investor other than the warm, fuzzy feeling? And what kind of ROI? Like, have you built that? And it's okay if you haven't yet. This is a project, guys, that has moved so fast. I mean, I'm so proud of you, Susie, what you have been able to accomplish and the people you've attracted, and the fact that it's not just Susie. I mean, she is, and she's doing the right thing by her board by bringing in different areas of expertise as well. But if you don't have this answer, then maybe you got to go back to the drawing table and get a value proposition and an ROI. And how is the angel investor? You said investor, not philanthropist, right? So investor's going to want to know, how do I get that ROI? What is my
So in the pro forma, I have built in a 10% interest. Um, that's as far as I got because nobody's actually said, "Hey, I'm interested in this." If they did, then I would talk to them because they probably know a lot more about it than I do, and we'd figure it out together.
Well, maybe your next board person just needs to be someone really good with finance. And score.org has a lot of retired CFOs. So maybe you just need to look for that CFO type brain.
And
Okay,
they are on my list of what I want for the next 7 board members in December.
good. Yeah. And again, that's the key. And it's such a big deal. And it's, kind of at the heart of your community is that, when we feel alone or we feel overwhelmed, the right answer, oh, Susie, I don't know the answer to that. Okay. What's the right answer? Find the person who does have the answer to that. Right. I remember there was this really powerful businesswoman I met and I was like, do you have an MBA? And she said, oh, I have two of them. Meet my CFO and meet my COO. So it's not about you being the genius that has to do it all by yourself because that's literally impossible. One last thing, and I have seen this, different villages I've visited. I would suggest you look into Findhorn in Scotland too, because that one's actually quite old. It probably dates back as long as the Denmark one that you were looking at. So anyway, they have visitors' homes so that other people who are curious are able to come in and see it. So it's just that may not be already in the plan, but it is something. And in fact, it could help to monetize even the community if you did it right. So
Absolutely. We have guest rooms already built into the plan as part of the common house, both for curious folks and for not
relatives.
having to build 2 extra bedrooms in your home that are not used. Guests can stay there in the common house.
Yeah, relative.
And even more exciting, I met a woman at my in-person open house in May who may possibly want to join us, who grew up in Findhorn.
Oh, how interesting. Well, I can introduce you to some people because I'm connected with some of their leaders there.
Yeah,
Um,
no, she lives here in Denver. And I'm like, so why aren't you going back to Findhorn? And she's like,
well,
oh, that's a good question.
it's a pretty lovely place, but it's pretty cold in the winters. Okay, so one last thing is this is you have the initial design, and again, these may be questions that you write down as things you ponder about, right? And I did see this in other co-housing communities where they did have a strong emphasis on nature, but then they also had a strong desire to keep adding more houses, which obviously pushes out nature. So are you making sure that you are making nature's house permanent? Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in talking with the planning and zoning here in our county, whatever size community we get approved for, I mean, that's the size. But yeah, we can make conservation easements and other things to keep like the wild areas from being developed.
excellent, excellent.
Yeah,
And
no,
not
that
to
is
base
vital.
two somewhere else, right?
Exactly. And this is an infill community. This is, we're looking at vacant land, either that the city owns or the county owns. There's one property is a private farm, but it's built within a neighborhood. It's,
Yeah.
a farm from the 50s that's pretty much derelict at this point. They've let it go fallow and it's just, but it's, near all the things we need, sewer and water and fire and all of that. So it cuts down the costs on those things.
Oh, and the soil is begging for you to regenerate it. Okay, I'm
It
going to
is.
stop my questions here, and we're going to invite the people who have joined us live to have conversation with us. I'm not going to record that, but if there's anything that we wish to record, we can always come back and do that. So let me stop the recording.
Question was as far as, yeah. So the question that's in the chat was as far as the land, who owns the land? I understand that the actual house is owned by each individual, but is the land part of a trust? And so that does vary. The subsidized homes, some of those will be part of a trust in order to keep them affordable into the future, because a lot of times somebody will get into an affordable house and in 50 years that has gone away and they can capture the 200% gains, and then it becomes unaffordable. So some of the subsidized homes will be in a trust so that they stay affordable forever. um, the individual, the unsubsidized homes, market rate homes, and higher end of the subsidized homes will not be in the trust. And so you will own the land as well, plus a prorated portion of the swimming pool, the common house, the 19 acres, the dog park, all of that stuff. And then how does HOI work? Is that the HOA? HOA fees? Is it individual per house? And that again will be decided by the community once we've designed the community and the home sizes and all of that, and we see what costs are, um, and we figure that out. That'll all be determined.
Yeah. Oh, homeowners
Ah,
insurance. Okay.
homeowners insurance. So your individual home would be individually insured just like your home is now. And then the common facilities will be insured under the HOA.
Same for property taxes, right?
Correct. Property taxes are paid individually um, for those homes that own their property. For the homes under the land trust covers those taxes, but that's part of your agreement with the land trust.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pause right now.
All right. Well, thanks again, Natalie. I appreciate it. If anybody has questions, you can reach me at Suzie, Suzie, at Gratitude Village CO for Colorado.com. So Suzie at gratitudevillage.com. The phone number is 720-689-4821. And our website is www.gratitudevillageco for Colorado.com.
Thank you so much. And I'm just going to show everybody the website one more quick time. Here it is. So you can read about their vision. You can see about their team, the future residents, ways that you can join events calendar, which is a big deal. They have a link to their blog even. So there's a great deal of resources. And obviously, if you want even more, you can reach out to Suzie, or when you're ready to join her village, you can reach out as well. Okay, I'll stop it here. So again, thank you so much for joining us and watching this back and sharing it with your friends. YouTube.com/Natalie Pace. And if you'd like to learn more, or even if you are coming back to this months from now and it's harder for you to find the video, just email info@nataliepace.com and say, hey, I want to watch that video of Gratitude Village. All right, thanks again, and hope to see you soon in one of our financial freedom retreats or some other sustainable place, or online on Instagram. Thanks again. And remember, you can contact us, join us. You can make sure that you're receiving all of our upcoming video conferences, our podcasts. You can join me on Instagram, Facebook, X, all of these things. So thanks again, and we'll see you soon.